Well, it all seems to be kicking off again today, and it's centred around the non-sale of Edson Álvarez, who looks very, very close to securing a loan to somewhere. We'll get into the small print in that and find out exactly what's going on in a little while. The big fallout and the reason a lot of people are getting very upset, and from my own point, I'd say suspicious, is that it's almost being suggested that we have to let Alvarez go before we can bring anyone in. Hold on a minute. Hold on. We've already been through this, haven't we? If he goes on loan, then it's just freeing up some wages. Okay, there might be a loan fee, but it's not going to be much. 1, 2, 3, 4 million pounds, something like that. Not going to be enough to make the difference as to whether we can sign somebody for 25 million or whatever the case may be. Which leads you to believe that actually the reason being suggested, and it's only the mainstream media, let me point this out here, it's only the mainstream media who are suggesting this. But the reason that we might have to get Alvarez out now is to free up wages. That doesn't make any sense. We've already freed up the wages. We did that before. Carlos Soler was on about 100 grand a week, but Soler and Evan Ferguson and Mikel Antonio, when they were all cut from the wages, it saved £500,000 a week. £500,000 a week, and I think that was before Kudus. So all that stuff that we were told would have to happen before we can buy, well, that's been done. Yet now we're being told it's got to happen again. What doesn't help is this information has coincided with there not being much transfer talk in terms of players coming in. In fact, the worrying thing about that is we seem to be struggling to sell players and to buy them. And you'd think if you're good at negotiating, I don't know how this thing goes, but I guess if you're good at negotiating, you're good at both, right? So a good negotiator can buy players and bring players in on a good deal, but also sell players. We're struggling at both, which is a worry. And there's definitely something going on with this Alvarez deal. But we should never be in a position now where we have to sell before we buy. I thought we were done with that. And I can't make any good reasoning for that. It was only, last week we did a video over here about the club taking out a second loan facility. If we really wanted to, be on the never, be like a credit card, but basically we've got 2 footballing credit cards, quite a good one from Barclays, and then this other, I don't know about that one. A lot of interest, big interest, not nice credit card over there. But if we really wanted to, we could spend 200 million on the credit card. Basically, if what we needed to do is, whilst this Alvarez deal is going through, we needed to go and get a midfielder in now, before the Chelsea game, which ain't going to happen now, by the way. It almost feels like we're throwing this Chelsea game. Anyway, whatever. Maybe that's a little bit drastic, but that's how it feels, right? So we could actually cover that off. I'm not so sure. I think all this is masking the truth, which is we're still struggling. We're struggling to sign someone. I think we might be struggling to identify players. Maybe that's even the case. Whatever, we're struggling. Underline that. We are struggling. So no one wants to hear. Sky Sports, I think, saying that West Ham are looking to offload Edson Álvarez before we bring someone else in. Forget it. No way. No way. The deal is complicated. Let me tell you the deal. But before I do, and this is really important because it was Karren Brady's choice to go on to TalkSport the other day, and it was her saying, "Oh, we need to bring in a fast midfielder." I've really done a terrible job of paraphrasing her there, but I think whoever it was, Sean Custis said, West Ham look woefully slow in midfield. Do you need to bring in a quick midfielder? And as I mentioned yesterday, she said, "Oh, duh, yeah, everyone knows that." Well, where is he? Where is he? Where is this midfielder? So she's almost put more pressure on herself. Not we all knew that we needed to do it, but she's gone out and said it. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't look like we're signing anyone or close to signing anyone at the moment, which is, a major concern. And everybody is majorly concerned with how the club is being run at the moment because it looks like we're going on a downward spiral. That's not a spiral, is it? That's a cliff. Anyway. In case you want to know, there is a link to a petition in the in the description below. If you want to go and sign that petition, I've signed it myself. If you want to go and sign that petition, then that's where you'll find it. It's a board-out petition, basically, to get rid of them. I don't think it's going to work, by the way, because I was there the first time, right? I don't mean to brown out. I have seen fans going at Sullivan. He sits there emotionless. I've seen him control the media around something like that. When that first march happened and it was cancelled, there were still some people who said, you know what, I don't care this cancelled, I'm going to do it. There was about, just to the right-hand side of the aquatic centre opposite the stadium, there was 2,000-3,000 people there. And we were, so we walked from Pudding Mill Lane, we went up there, and when we got into the ground, like Talk Sport and Sky Sports were saying, oh, there's 200 or 300 people are protesting. Well, it wasn't. It was about, I guess, 2,500 people or something like that. So I've seen how this plays out. The way I think you're going to get out of, get him out is probably, I still think Krasinski's still our best bet. I really do. And it shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't. And I feel, to a certain extent, you don't know, he really is, you know, you don't know much about Krasinski, but I feel almost he's given up. I mentioned this before. I think he tried to modernise us by insisting on a director of football. You know, Sullivan dabbled with it for whatever, a year, 18 months, and he got rid of him. You almost wonder if Krasinski's stood back and just waiting for everything to capitulate before he moves in. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the case, maybe it won't. But I still think a hostile takeover is the best way we're going to get this mob out of the club. But if you do want to sign the petition, the link is in the description below. Go and do it. What I'm not going to do is attach all this narrative about if you don't sign it, you're not a West Ham fan or you're part of the problem. You know, not at all. Do what you've got to do. Honestly, people have got to do what they've got to do. There's so many people giving up their season tickets. People won't buy merchandise. Whatever it is, voice your concerns on social media, write in the comments. Talk about it for half hour like I did the other day on a video. Whatever it is you feel you need to do. But it doesn't. It's not great, is it? I'll tell you what I will say, though, about that is they have said, judge us at the end of the transfer window. Oh, don't you worry. I think that's going to happen. Don't worry about that. But anyway, it's been an absolute mess in terms of buying and selling. In terms of selling Edson Álvarez, it's been absolutely crazy. Because it was late last night. I wasn't even late last night. I logged on in the morning, at 8 o'clock this morning, and it said an update from Fabrizio Romano 4 hours ago. That's like 4 in the morning. Now, and I think he's not. Is he not in Italy or something like that? So the time difference is not that much. It's not like he was still up in the middle of the night. Posting. He's probably using his phone. What do you reckon he does, Fabrizio? Do you reckon he's using a laptop or a phone to do his posting anyway? He said it's imminent. Alvarez to Fenerbahce. It's happening. He didn't say here we go. But he said the deal will be done today. Nope, it doesn't look that way. So he didn't go to training. Ex-West Ham United employee said he didn't turn up to training. He was meant to go on a flight to Turkey. It doesn't look like that's happened. I'll tell you why. Because other clubs have come in for him in that time. Almost, you might have a Carl Walker-Peters, but in reverse. Because he was due to sign for Besiktas, and then he heard West Ham were interested. He decided not to go to Turkey. That was a player coming in. In terms of a player going out, as I understand it, it's Porto. And honestly, at the time of recording this video, I refreshed the browser again, and Inter Milan have been chucked in there. Borussia Dortmund are a name from before, but there's a lot of clubs now, which I'm not surprised about. Right? He's a good player. I think he really suits our system. Well, doesn't suit our system. I think he doesn't suit our system well, which is the problem. I don't like what Graham Potter said about him, which was, we don't know. No one's ever heard Graham Potter say this, by the way, but you hear that Graham Potter doesn't think he fits his system. I'd like to know who does bloody fit his system, because what I saw against Sunderland, no one can play his bloody system. But the fact that he won't select him, you know, there's at least one person at the club wants to get rid of this guy. Possibly all of them. Possibly Sullivan, Brady, and Potter. Maybe they all want to get rid of him. I think if we were playing a different system, if we're playing differently, I still think he's the best holding midfielder that we've got at the club. I'd be selling Rodriguez and I'd be selling Ward-Prowse before I got rid of this guy. Also, I'm a bit worried about the lack of bite in the team, but lack of leadership, lack of fight. He's got it. I know he's a bit of a red card, waiting to happen sometimes, but he does that attritional quality, which I think is I like what Potter's said, and I like what the media team at West Ham shared over the summer, which is, you know, this squad harmony and everyone getting on with one another. Yeah, I like to see that, but I also think you need a bit of needle. I think you need somebody attritional. I think you need a bit of spirit. I think you need some captains, some loud people. I don't see that. I'm worried they're almost like a little bit too softly spoken, actually, some of them. So, yeah, I think there's stuff. I also think it's madness what's happened with Alvarez in terms of, you know, nothing quite highlights the recruitment and the lack of foresight and planning, quite like this transfer where we go and buy a player for £35 million from Ajax. His stock has not dropped off, by the way. His stock has not dropped off. He's just won player of the tournament, the CONCACAF Gold Cup. He won the final, he scored a goal in the final, he lifted the bloody trophy. I mean, by the only metric that was available at the time, this was the best player in South America 2 months ago, right? I don't understand. I don't understand how we can't get in our team. Anyway, there you go. But a year ago, he was rumoured to be worth £50 million. Manchester United are interested. He got injured against Jamaica, playing for Mexico. Deal didn't go through. So how come now we're only loaning him out? Anyway, Fenerbahce, apparently, this is where it becomes difficult. Fenerbahce have got a bigger loan, made a bigger loan offer, I think. They pay all his wages and they're going to give us a bigger chunk. Don't know what the chunk is. But he doesn't want to go. So this is why you got the Kyle Walker-Peters thing. He doesn't want to go to Fenerbahce unless he has to. So when Porto come in or Inter Milan, whoever it might have been, he's thinking, oh no, I'll have a bit of that, please. They know it. So they're coming in with lower offers. I don't know. Hopefully by the end of the day or tomorrow or whatever, we'll find out actually there is some money coming in. But I tried to explain the amortisation yesterday, and I think did a terrible job of it, so I won't go back into that. But I think reading between the lines, if West Ham are going to sell him for 20 million, they'd rather loan him out for a season and get the 20 million next season because that works better with the amortisation or PSR or whatever the case may be. That's a better thing to do. Whatever it is, I don't think any of it's an excuse for not signing players now. It's really weird, isn't it? There's lots of things that annoy you about West Ham, and you've got little levels of annoyance. He's got these things buzzing around here. What's annoying me most? It's the Chelsea game. It's the fact that we're letting this Chelsea game encroach upon us. Yet we still haven't done anything. We're still going to go in with the same midfield. Now, it won't be the same midfield. He'll tweak it, but it's like moving the chairs around on the Titanic. We don't have any new midfielder to come in. What's he going to do? He's not going to do anything. You might find one player comes in and goes out or whatever, but nothing drastic will change for that. And my word, we really need it. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed continually at the clubs, and it doesn't really matter who's in charge or, who the manager is or, it doesn't matter, but the club's sort of seeming willingness to throw away points by not bringing in players early enough or in a timely fashion. Well, honestly, it does me head in. It really does me head in. Anyway, there you go. That's where we are with Edson Álvarez. He won't be here. He won't be here at the end of the transfer window. And okay, if that's going to happen, then I'd rather he stay. But if we're going to get rid of him, at least get some money for him. If we can't get some money for him, okay. But why has it got to hold up us bringing in someone now? And I think that is the most infuriating thing.